and welcome to the show. This week, let's compare the music industry on both sides of the pond, as we have Nashville-based American pop R&B artist Ria Barkr, who is currently on her promotional tour in the UK, promoting her new EP, Alpha She, a release that celebrates female empowerment and autonomy. Having appeared on America's Got Talent at the very young age of 14 and worked with renowned jazz pianist Jeff Frenzel, who's worked with Frank Sinatra, Josh Groban and The Temptations. Ria's story is an interesting one, so let's say hello and find out more. Welcome to the show, Ria.
Thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's just great to have you here. And America's Got Talent at 14.
Yeah,
Ria,
it was a ride. Yeah, it was a ride. I think one of the biggest lessons that I learned from that opportunity was to be able to sing on the spot. So my mom is a vocal coach, right? And I grew up with a studio in our house at a very young age. She was signed at 17. And so she's always been my vocal coach. Growing up with a studio in the house, I heard music my entire life. Well, I also was in theater, like on so many different like productions and all that kind of stuff at a really young age. But this was probably one of the biggest ones, right? So we got there. Yeah, it's huge. Yeah. We got there and, we're in line. And of course you have to get up so early, like ridiculously early. And the line is just wrapped around the building. And we got up and I was like, I need to vocalize, I need to run my songs and stuff. And she was like, well, let's run them, And I was like, well, there's a bunch of people around, everybody's going to hear me sing. And she's like, well, you can mess up in here, or you can mess up out, in there. Which one do you want? Because she's very blunt and straight to the point, which is, you need that definitely as an artist. You definitely need blunt and coming from like a good place, you know.
Exactly.
And so I think that's probably the biggest thing I learned is that being able to sing on the spot.
Yeah. And what did you sing? Can you remember?
So I sang "Love You I Do" by Jennifer Hudson.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And how did it go down?
It was great. We went to filming and all that kind of stuff, and they kept getting me to sing multiple different songs. Like I think I ended up singing "Hot and Cold" by Katy Perry, and then I sang "My Heart Will Go On" by Celine Dion. And they were trying to like wrap a narrative around me, but it was really hard for them.
But what a fantastic experience!
Yeah.
And as you say, you take so much away from these people, and presumably you were, chatting to other musicians and different artists as well.
It was the first time being like filmed like that as well at that young of an age. It was like, I think I blacked out, honestly. I don't remember anything. Really, I don't remember a thing. So, but it was cool.
So from there, what did you do from there? Did that kind of give you that passion for it, so to speak?
Yeah, for sure. After that, I auditioned for a role where multiple different Broadway actors came in, and we did One Singular Sensation. It was a 3-night event, and we raised money for cancer. And so I was, I think I was either 13 or 14 at that time, so around the same time as America's Got Talent, and auditioned, got the role. I was the only person that wasn't on Broadway, and everybody else was pretty much Broadway royalty, the Phantom of the Opera, Cats, any Andrew Lloyd Webber, musical, and that was massive because I got to sing and perform on stage with such incredible, artists, honestly.
And
they
how old
are.
Were you, Ria? How old were you then?
I think I was 13 or 14.
Wow. So
So around the same age, and thousands of people, which was like definitely nerve-wracking, because everybody else was in their 30s and, they could dance like, they were, professional dancers, professional actors, professional singers, it's like boom, 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 boom. It's like they were so good at all of it. So, I was just in awe, like just getting the opportunity to even do that. And like rehearsals were like so intense. And so I knew that I loved being on stage from a very young age.
Yeah. Do you hail from Nashville? Is that where?
No. So I'm actually from the birthplace of country music.
Wonderful.
Bristol, Virginia, Bristol, Tennessee.
Yes.
I'm actually related to the country group, the Carter family, right?
Wonderful.
And I live in Nashville, Tennessee, which is now like, country central, and I don't sing country at all. I do R&B, so, that's definitely interesting. But
there's a misconception though, isn't there? I've been very fortunate enough to go to Nashville several times.
Cool. Yeah.
And, it's a place where immediately people think Dolly Parton and country music, but there's so much more there, isn't there?
It's so diverse. There's, Americana, there's pop, there's, punk, and an alternative grunge scene, rap. rap. It's really starting to build, and I think probably in the next like decade it'll be similar to LA in that way.
Yeah. Do you see the changes? Because they're doing a lot of physical changes to the city, aren't they? A lot of the old Nashville Music City, the actual music hall. What is it? The Music Hall of Fame, they think they call it. Or there's a road.
Music Row.
Music Row. That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's now not downtown.
Yes.
That's in like Berry Hill now. Like all the like bigger studios. I mean, there's a few still on Music Row, but like some of like the nicer, bigger ones are now.
But it's a shame, isn't it? Even for a young artist like you, because you clearly appreciate music because you've had it in your family from such a young age.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, isn't it, that these kind of iconic buildings just have to go and make way.
Yeah, now they're just being put into apartment buildings, because so many people are moving there. It's crazy.
But what is it like living in Nashville? It must be good there because it's such a brilliant place for writers.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
For singers.
Yeah, honestly, the musicians there are absolutely incredible. I mean, you could throw a quarter and hit someone that is like an insane musician. You know what I mean? Yes. Like honestly, like there are incredible session musicians all over the place, great writers. Like a lot of the stuff of my, that I write with like people that normally do country or pop, genres rather than R&B, which I actually like that because it gives a different look into my sound. Like Monday is one of the singles from my EP Alpha She that I just put out, and I wrote that with one of my friends who's mainly a country writer. Well, you look at the lyrics and you're like, okay, there's a story here. Just like really, really good raw old country, there were always stories. There was a narrative.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Yes. So with this, it's the same type of thing, and I really enjoyed that, and I bring her in all the time now. So
and you don't mind collaborating? Obviously, it's something you
love
enjoy.
Collaborating.
Yes.
I love writing for other artists. I write for other artists all the time. I do features and stuff. I pull in multiple writers and producers, and I love collaboration. Absolutely love it.
And it's great because you're a young artist. So what's it like being in the music industry at the moment, at this time?
Well, it's changing. So it changes like, you snap your fingers and, there's already, a new platform and a new this and a new that, that you have to adjust to. So I think it's great because, there's social media now, which can be a double-edged sword, I'd say. There's great things about it, but then there's also things that it's like, okay, this is another thing I have to add. You know what I mean? Okay, now TikTok and the reel and this, But at the same time, I've had multiple people come up to me. I performed at South by Southwest Festival this past year, which is a huge music festival, and I actually got myself that gig, which is crazy. I just I worked so hard and just put my nose down and just figured it out, and found bookers and all kinds of stuff. But, doing that, I had someone come up to me and they were like, hey, are you Ria Barkr? And I was like, yeah, and they were like, I follow you on TikTok. And I was like, really? Wow, okay. And then, I was walking down the street and I heard my song playing in a liquor store. And I was like, I was walking down the road and I was like, no, wait, I know this song. Oh wait, no, it's my song. So then I went in and I was like, hey, I'm the artist of the song. And they were like, oh, no way. We added it to our playlist. And I don't know if it's because I was an artist during the festival or whatever, but it's really cool. It's like social media can add, it's been adding a lot of fans.
Yes.
So many people have come up to me and say, hey, I've recognized you from TikTok, and I'm not that big on TikTok. So I don't know where these people are coming from, but I'm glad they're coming, So, the music industry is changing, and it'll always continue to change. But I think the pendulum always swings back, and it goes back to the fact that you need grassroots, you need relationships, you need real people networking together, So I think that is something that will always stand.
Yes, as you say, you've got the social media, but nothing like the personal.
Nothing like the personal.
Well, we're going to take a look at one of your videos now. Yeah. So would you like to introduce the video we're going to see?
Yes, so this is Monday off of my brand new EP, Alpha She by Ria Barkr.
From the past, it takes me back, and I can't remember the last time I felt like that, singing Mariah Carey in my bedroom, making a microphone out of my shampoo, skipping all my homework, making up excuses. All my teachers knew that rather be doing music. When did I lose track of what I was reaching for? Knocking on every door now, I'm sweeping up a restaurant floor. And then I turned 24. When did I put my dreams in my dresser drawer? If I got a deal, they give me a couple stacks. And I never, ever, ever be going back. But I still got rent to the first, got a check engine light.
Welcome back to the show. I'm here with the Nashville R&B and pop artist Ria Barkr. Ria, lovely to have you. Now, before the break, we were talking about all things what's going on with the music industry and how it's changed and how social media is playing a really good part in your career, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
For you as an artist, Ria, it must be, to work with some of these incredible artists that you have worked with already.
Yeah.
What's your kind of aspirations and your plans for the future? What would you like to be doing?
Before I had a whole goal, like a 5-year plan and 3-year plan, and then smaller goals within those plans. And I noticed that first off, I didn't enjoy what I was doing, and I didn't enjoy life, and I didn't enjoy the journey. And then I also realized that it put the blinders on to where I only saw this instead of seeing so many opportunities, not just this one opportunity here, here, and here, So I when I opened that up and I got a full view of what I wanted to do or just anything, I allowed for so many opportunities to come in and come my way. So now I just kind of go with the flow, and I know the things that I want to do, like I'm going to be coming back to the UK in the autumn and, touring and stuff like that, live touring. So that's a great, that's great, yeah. So I think like being in the moment as much as you can, it kind of brings back those childlike feels to where it's like, you get to enjoy the journey, which is like the whole point. Because like, what if you get to the top and you didn't enjoy the whole ride there? What's the point?
Are you enjoying your time here in the UK?
I love it. So this is my second time here.
Right.
I think just going 30 minutes down the road and hearing a different dialect, like seeing different architecture, different sayings and stuff, I think that's really cool, because in America, it's not really like that. You have to go a lot further to get that type of dialect change. So I think that's really cool. And it's just like, I like that everybody's so honest here and so just like, whatever. Yeah. I love that vibe and that sense of just like, I don't know. It's just fun here.
And what about performing live? Now, you said you plan to come back here to do some live gigs.
Yes.
Amazing. Where would you like to perform? Where's the kind of where's the resistance for you to
I would love to perform at like the Apollo or like somewhere downtown in London, or one of the academies or something like that. That would be insane.
And your parents must be very proud of what you're doing.
Yeah. My mom definitely. My mom did not want me to go into the music industry because she's been, she was in the music industry and still, is. And she's like,
it's tough.
Oh yeah,
it's a tough industry.
Yeah, and so I'm really glad she grew. Like I grew up with someone that was so tough. I played her my first song. I wrote on piano, which I'm an awful keyboard player still to this day. I can do just enough to get by, honestly. But I was playing. I was in middle school and I was like playing my song for her, and I was like, what do you think? And of course you're like so. In middle school, you're just like, just so emotional and everything is just the end of the world. Yeah, exactly. So, I was showing her my, dark, middle school song. And I was like, what do you think? And she goes, that was awful. She was like, that was not great. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, at least I know that I can really rely on her to tell me the truth.
Now, tell us about your EP.
My EP came out on the 12th, May 12th. And it's called Alpha She, and it's pretty much, anything that isn't great in your life, get rid of it. Honestly, if it's a job like Monday, if it is not aligning with your purpose, get rid of it. If it's a relationship, get rid of it. If it's a friendship, get rid of it. If it's not great, then it's not worth it. And that's pretty much what I want to, what I want this full EP to embody is, female empowerment in a whole of that. And I came to the UK in 2020. and I worked with my producers here. We produced 20 tracks in about a month, and I went home, started writing them, and 7 of them is what made up my EP.
Any favorites? Which one's your favorite?
Gosh, it's kind of hard because they're all like my little babies,
you know?
Yeah,
right, yes.
I really love Monday, and I really like Tennis as well. I think the writing on that is I think it's different, like relating a tennis ball back and forth to a relationship back and forth, So I love that song. And then Monday, I just feel like after I got done hearing the song, like the demo, I just cried because it was exactly how I felt. Like all of the feelings that I had felt towards that job that I was working that I didn't like were put in something, and it came out, and it was like beautiful, and I was like, this is amazing, like I have something that's like, tangible from that job, like that are feelings,
Now, tell us about Time Zone, because you're going to perform that in just a few moments.
Yeah.
That's going to be live and exclusive performance.
Yes,
for us.
it is.
Thank
Yes.
you. Tell us then about Time Zone, how that came about.
So Time Zone, I wrote that several years back, probably in 2017, I would say, 2018. I wrote it about my sister's divorce, and I put it up online, a live version of it. And, she was like, I love that new song. My sister was like, I love that new song you wrote and put up. I was like, well, I wrote it about you. And she was like, oh my gosh, no wonder I'm relating with it so much, And so, I always love performing the song, but I recently just went through a breakup of my own. We were together for 6 years, and we broke up about a month and a half ago. And it's pretty much about, feeling like you're in a different time frame than the other person emotionally.
We're just going to take a quick break, so
okay.
Thank you so
Sounds
much.
Sounds great. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so after the break, Brad Henshaw will be joining us, another talented singer-songwriter who spends his time with one foot here and the other side of the Atlantic. His music has been described as Americana, although he has recently flirted with a rock album, which we're going to be talking to him about, which has had incredible reviews. But for now, let's listen to the wonderful tone of Ria Barkr playing her exclusive song for us, Time Zone.
I'm not ready for a daylight shit, knowing last night you left me. Minutes, hours fading, but these feelings are leaving me. Missing you in every breath, got a fire burning in my chest. Hollow vacant stages, accepting that you don't want me. But there will be a time I don't cry. Na 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 na. Not ready to read the script you changed. You tore my pages, wrote another girl's name, and I can't wait till I no longer see your face, 'cause you're a time so mad now. Days and seasons passing, can't believe you're texting me. But I'm building something new, and it doesn't involve you. Minutes, hours fading, accepting that I don't want you. But there will be a time you don't cry. Na 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 na. Not ready to read the script I changed. I tore your pages, wrote another man's name. I can't wait till I no longer see your face, 'cause I'm a time so mad now. Not ready to read the script I changed. I tore your pages, wrote another man's name. I can't wait wait till I no longer see your face, 'cause I'm a town owner now. This place, no, 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 yeah. Ooh. Check this out. You can't come back. You can't come back. Ooh, no, no, no. I've already left. I've already left. Not ready to read the script I changed. I tore your pages, wrote another man's name, and I can't wait till I no longer see your face, 'cause I'm a time zone ahead now. Not ready to read the script I changed. I tore your pages, wrote another man's name. I can't wait till I no longer see your face, 'cause I'm a time zone ahead now.
Welcome back to the show, and let's say hello to the lovely Brad Henshaw. Brad, welcome.
Thank you, Monica. How are you?
Really good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good.
Long time no see. I was trying to think about when I last saw you. I think it was up in that lovely Birmingham.
It probably was, yeah.
And I can't remember the year. It was a few, just a few years ago. But how are you doing? You looking well?
Thank you very much. I'm pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty good.
Doing so well as far as your music is concerned. You've just signed to a new management. There's so much going on. New single coming out. So tell us about it, Brad. What's been happening?
Well, we've been doing plenty of shows. We've been doing shows in the US and a couple of shows here in the UK, and just signed a new management deal, which I'm very happy about. Signed to M&M Management of London.
Brilliant.
And that's gone very well, and very excited for the future with those guys because they've got connections in the US and a lot of connections in London.
Yeah, because that's the thing with you, Brad. You've got home here and also in the US, haven't you?
Yeah. I play both sides of the pond, and so it was important for me to have a connection there. You know, it's a good thing to have because, you know, my style of writing and what I do is kind of centered there and here, you know. So I needed that connection. It's difficult to find someone that wants to play in that territory as well. So it was good to have those guys.
You were with your band. Are you still with those guys? I know some of them were with you and some of them had to go off and do their own thing, as musicians often do. Yeah,
I mean, you know, to have good musicians, they're always on tour with somebody else, and you know, it's hard to keep them employed and paid. So Tony Jones, John Dewsbury, Andy Safir, you know, David Meehan, they're all playing with, you know, Boney M or, you know, different bands. So I'm very very lucky to have a band of loyal brothers in that department, and so yeah, I'm very grateful to those guys. They stay loyal to me, and we're delighted to be with M&M Management, and the future looks rosy.
Very exciting, very exciting. So what are the initial plans, Brad? What are you going to be doing initially with your new management? I know you've got a new single.
Yep.
So tell us about that.
Well, initially, I think we'll be looking to do more gigs around the UK and Europe, and then stretching our wings against the US. There's talk about doing a residency at the Hard Rock Cafe in London. I think that the idea would be to do 3 or 4 weeks there and get labels along to that. I'm in discussions with those guys for that. And we do have a new single that I think we're going to be playing a bit later on.
Yes, absolutely.
The new single is going to be called Wildfire. The current single is called Lone Star. And that's out there at the moment, getting a lot of airplay. And I'm very happy that that's being played. But the new single is called Wildfire, and we're planning the campaign built around that. We don't have a release date as yet. But
we're going to see the video.
Yeah.
People can get a sound, and the first time it's been shown, I understand.
It's an exclusive, Monica, and I
Wonderful.
wanted you to be the person to play that for
Thank
us.
you so much.
So that's in the pipeline to be released in 4 weeks' time. So I'm delighted with that single. I'm very economical on what I release. I'm an artist that doesn't release too much. So many artists out there release stuff every week, you know, that's what they do. But I tend not to do that. You know, it's always been my intention to release good quality stuff rather than stack 'em high, sell it cheap. You know, I tend to release what I want to release. And the plan is to attract a label.
Yes,
so I release what I want to release, not just for the sake of releasing stuff, to attract people. You know, I've been in the business long enough to not want to do that. We talked a bit earlier about an album that a rock AOR album.
Yeah, that's right. Now that's doing quite well. You know, the reviews have been very good about that. So, even though that's not your sort of genre, but what was your thoughts on that, Brad?
Well, there was a singer from Birmingham called David Saylor who was a friend of mine, and he was a great singer and a good friend. Sadly, a few years back, he passed away, and he was tied up with a label, and he was a rock singer. AOR singer, great guy. He was signed, and he asked me a couple of times to sing on an album, you know, a rock album. It really wasn't my forte, but he was very kind and let me do that. And after he passed, the label contacted me and said, "Would you be interested in doing a couple of tracks and maybe working towards an album?" So with my friend John Dewsbury, that's what we did. It was primarily a covers album. But we managed to smuggle on there 3 older songs.
It's a great term, smuggle on.
Yeah, we smuggled them on there, and 3 songs that we from time, you know. But we revamped them into a rock style, and the album got released, and it's done very, very well, and it's been featured in a lot of rock magazines, and it's had some great reviews. So I'm a diverse artist in certain respects, and I don't really want to be tied down into a pigeonhole, which so many companies and so many different kind of genres want to kind of do that to you. It was a pleasant diversion from what I do. There's talk of another album. But you know, my original concept in this business is to write and record my own material, which is where I am, and where I am with the current single, Lone Star, and the new single, which is going to be Wildfire.
And how long have you been in the music industry now, Brad?
How long have you got? I've been in the business a long time.
Yes.
We talked about this before.
Yes, we have.
My mum was a singer, my dad was a pianist. Music has always been in my family. And so, I turned professional when I was around about 19 years of age. Luckily enough, feast of famine.
Yes.
And I've been around for a long time. I'm a grafter. I'm one of the guys that has always been, you know, I never really got the break, but I've always been there.
Yes.
And I've always worked hard.
But it is sometimes being in the right place at the right time, isn't it?
Oh, I think it's a lot about that.
Yeah.
But my contemporaries are, you know, people that I admire, and a lot of them have never had the fame they deserve. It never really was about the fame for me. It was about producing good material. It was about producing great songs and writing good lyrics and being someone that was respected. That's what it was about, making good music and having success in terms of making a living. Yeah. And that's what I've done.
And changes in the music industry, you know, we could talk about that all day, couldn't we, Brad? There's so many changes now. For you, what's been a kind of a change that it's a good thing to have in the music industry? Because it's an ever-changing, very hard-working industry.
Yeah.
For all the musicians that I interview, you know, it's hard sometimes. It can be very hard out there.
Well, I think the great thing is that it's back to the live performance.
Yes, which is wonderful, isn't it?
You know, it's back to performing live, and so many bands are on the road now. And so many bands from the 80s, even, you know, great bands from the 70s are back playing again. And I think it's quite wonderful to see.
And they're selling out as well. You know, these are sell-out tours, which is great.
And I hate the stigma associated with older artists. So I think it's wrong for the media to portray, you know, people's age and the age of fans that go to see bands. If you love a band and if you love their music, what's wrong with going to see them? And I think it's wrong when people compare ages, you know, when they say, you know, this band has got a combined age of the universe.
Yes.
You know, I think it's wrong.
Yes.
Because if you love that band and it means something to you in your life, what's wrong with going to see them? And in Europe, you know, people celebrate that. They love going to see bands like the Sweet from that
Oh,
era,
yes,
or
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with that. Music is music. If it means something to you and you get a chance to go and see surviving members of that band, go and do it,
Yes.
because that's what it's all about. It's a photo album of your life. It's part of your life, and it's important to you. And I think you should go and do it, and go and support bands, go and support live music. I mean, I went to see with my son a few weeks back. I went to see Peter Hook.
Oh, wow.
And The Light, and he was in Joy Division.
Yeah.
He was in New Order.
And there's so many like that, isn't there?
Yeah.
But Brad, we're going to have to take a quick break.
Yeah,
Stay with
sure.
us and come back again in just a minute.
Come on now.
Crank the whip, hey baby, I've been gone for such a long time. Take the hit, gonna tell you, I'm coming back and I'm taking what's mine. I'm pushing harder than a southbound train. I'm gonna make it home tonight. A billboard says Jesus saves. I sure as hell hope it's right. I'm a lone star rising on a Texas night. A lone star rising in the western sky. Bite your lip, pay the tip, and I'm at the bar and I'm feeling alright. From the hip, hey baby, and don't you know that you're one of my kind? And she was sipping on a long neck beer with a Dallas cheerleader smile. She'll kick you harder than a long horse steer, burn you like a prairie fire. I'm a lone star rising on a Texas night. A lone star rising in the western sky. Keep on shining and shine your light. I'm a lone star rising, got you in my sights. Keep on shining.
Welcome back, and I'm here with Brad Henshaw. Brad, just before the break, and I very rudely had to cut you off. Brad, we were talking about Joy Division. Now, again, there's a band, isn't it? Where you've got individuals from those bands going out on the road again.
Yeah, as I was saying to you, I went to see Peter Hook and The Light, and it was wonderful because the guy's 70 years of age, and
But still got it.
he really has, and
Yeah.
he played a 3-hour set, and the generation of people were there were people that were of that age, and a very, very young set of people that were there, and he played for 3 hours, and it was incredible, and the place was packed. It was a sellout. What a display of fandom and music that crosses the genres. Of course, Ian Curtis was, you know, synonymous with the band, but it was wonderful. And it was great to see the great British public supporting an artist like him.
And it's great that we're coming out to live gigs now,
Yeah.
because not only does that support them, but it also
course.
from a monetary perspective,
Yeah.
bands actually get money, because musicians during that period where we were kind of locked down, you know, it was awful, wasn't it,
Yeah.
for all of that industry, and anybody
Well, it was.
associated with that industry, the lighting, the engineers, the caterers, you know, all the sorts of people that came with it.
In the COVID thing, I was in the US, and
Yeah.
I was the restrictions there were a little bit less than
Yes,
they were
they
here.
were, yeah.
So I decided to, because I was a bit bored, I decided to take my truck license there.
As you do.
As you do. So
Yeah.
I was in the fortunate position to do that. So
Yes.
I did. I took a course and I took a truck license there. So I got my CDL Class A there.
Oh, great.
And then when I came back here, I decided to match it up.
Just something on the sideline,
Yeah,
right? Just
so,
in case
so
it all,
I got
all
both
falls
licenses,
apart.
and I have my bike license
Yes,
as well.
of course,
So
yeah.
I've got the
Fantastic.
trilogy. I love the US, I really do. But there's still a part of me that loves the UK. And I have a lot of friends here, still have a lot of family here. But part of me has always loved the US, and you know, I've always yearned for that, you know, that space. And you know, the restrictions, you know, a lot of things are, you know, stifling quite a lot about the UK, and it's a shame, really.
For someone like yourself who tours America, it must be very different to go to different states and have different reactions from different types of audiences.
Yeah, I mean, it is, you know, you know, I've toured America, you know, I've done 14 weeks, I've toured the US, and it is like another world, even from state to state,
Yes.
you know. I think Americans find it difficult if they come to live in the UK and they've got to buy a TV licence.
Yes.
They find that incredibly difficult, and a dog licence. They find those kind of restrictions, they're baffled when you tell them of those kind of things.
Yeah.
Each has their merits.
Do you see yourself spending more time, perhaps, you know, in the next 5 years or so in America, or do you see yourself coming back here more?
To be honest with you, I think the weather is a driving factor.
Always is.
I think it is. I think when the sun shines in the UK, people have a far better time of it. You know, we seem to.
It makes you feel better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I know nutrition and health is a big thing for yourself, and I think that's a big driving factor for us Brits a lot. You know, I think if we had a little bit better weather, we'd all be in a bit better mood. You know. So that's a driving factor for me.
And musically, what, now you're under new management, for example. So is the plan to do a UK tour and a US tour? Is that
that's where I see myself doing that. And I think that, you know, if I can keep the two things going, I'm very appreciative to anybody that comes to see the band and buys the music, whether it's here or over there. And long may that continue. And health is a big thing, isn't it?
Yes,
if you can stay healthy and keep doing what you're doing, and be happy, that's a big factor in everybody's life.
Oh, it is, Brad. I totally agree. And in fact, you know, on that note, doctors are actually prescribing now music therapy to patients with mental health issues. You know, for you, you know, with your background in music and how long you've been in the industry, do you see that as a really good way for people to help their mental health music?
Yeah, I think it's important. You know, I mean, whatever it is that brings happiness into your life, you know, whatever that is, if it's walking, if it's music, if it's drama, whatever it is, you know, I think you have to get that fix, you know, and I think that's important to you, and you shouldn't be dissuaded from that.
Who are you listening to at the moment? Is anybody in particular?
That's a good question. I mean, I listen to stuff like the Black Keys. I listen to, you know, a lot of classic stuff, you know, but there are some great artists out there. I mean, you know, I think Ed Sheeran does write a good tune.
He does. He certainly does.
He does write a good tune, and whether
he's doing very well on it.
he does do very well on it, but he's straight into the country vein. So I think again, you know, he's looking at longevity rather than you know, the pop world per se. Even though there is some great pop artists out there.
Yes.
You know, I think that you know, there is some incredible artists out there, and you know, long may that continue. That good music survives.
Well, we're going to listen to your video now.
Thank you.
So, or look, I should say, and listen. So it's called Wildfire.
It is.
Tell us just a little bit about it quickly before we show it.
It's a track that I wrote a few years ago, and I wrote it from a hospital bed. It is a song that's been around a while. I sang it to my good friend John Dewsbury, and he said to me, I think this is a good tune, Brad, and we should record it. And so we did. And it's a song that I've wanted to release for a while, and I feel the time is right to do so. Brilliant. We shot the video quite a while back, and we edited it on Saturday night because we wanted you to be the first to play it when we got this interview.
Well, Brad,
together.
Thank you very much for coming in today. It's been a pleasure to talking to you. Thank you so much. And now, of course, we're going to listen and watch this lovely video from Brad Henshaw entitled Wildfire. Thank you so much for watching this week, and thank you to all of my guests, of course. Come back and see me again very soon. Take care for now. Bye-bye.
I know it's wrong, 'cause he's a friend of mine, that you give to me your secret smile. And I've heard him joke about the two of us, that he don't see what I see in your blue eyes. If I could only take you by the hand and lose the weekend crowd, take my Chevy down a back road where the music music ain't so loud. For what it's worth, he should adore you. Make time and take more care. 'Cause when a heart's left unattended, every wildfire starts somewhere. A weekend that is spent when the guys up at the lake, he didn't show till Sunday morning came. That time he called to tell you that he'd be working late. He left the bar with his arm round some old flame. I don't wanna be the one to make him feel betrayed. 'Cause you're a woman with a heart of gold who stands by his mistakes. For what it's worth, he should adore you. Make time and take more care. 'Cause when a heart's left unattended, well, it can only end in tears. There'll be 100 miles of burnt tree line and a home that once stood there. You shouldn't take your love for granted. Every wildfire starts somewhere. Every wildfire starts somewhere. Now you can dig a fire break, do what it takes, and hope it stays away. Turn them sprinklers on and use a hose to keep the flames at bay. But when the winds are high and the brush is dry, a spark can go astray. And before too long, you cut and run and evacuate. For what it's worth, he should adore you. But make time and take more care. 'Cause when a heart's left unattended, well, it can only end in tears. There'll be 100 miles of burnt tree line and a home that once stood there. You shouldn't take your love for granted. Hey, baby, never take that love for granted. Every wildfire starts somewhere. Every wildfire starts somewhere. Out in the middle of nowhere. 'Cause every wildfire starts somewhere. I know it's wrong to say I love you, but when I close my eyes, you're here. So won't you meet me in a dream tonight? Every wildfire starts somewhere.